Hey everyone, welcome to Soul on Fire. We're going to ignite the passion within. I am Noelle Agape and I am your leading expert in health, wellness, and consciousness. Today we have such a beautiful treat for you guys. We have two of my closest friends that I'm bringing on for you. Sit down and enjoy because we are going to really bring you mind hacking, and we're going to teach you a little bit about the soul and the quantum fields. Guys, I have two of the most amazing, beautiful people that are coming on today. So I want you just to invite yourself to really take this moment, this hour for you, because there is so much goodness coming towards you. My first guest, I'm going to bring them on together, but my first guest is Amy Turner, and she is a licensed therapist, and she is an alcohol and drug counselor, and she's a hypnotherapist, and she works wonders with your mind, guys. She really is like a mind hacker. She gets in there and she removes all of your limiting beliefs and anything that is going on. And then my other dear friend, Rachael Grant Dixon, she is a master coach, and she truly, truly is a corporate trainer. She has a performance coach. It's off the charts what she does with you, right? She just finds your soul, and it's so much yumminess. So I'm going to bring both of you guys in, and thank you guys so much for joining us. We can't wait for you to have this show, because this show is so special to me, because it's two of the closest people in my life, as well as they really, really, really are going to make a difference in your life. So I'm going to add Amy, and I'm going to add Rach. Hi guys, how are you?
No, we both did that. I know, we're so in sync.
I'm so happy to have you guys here. Thank you so much for being here. So we'll start with Amy, and then Amy, why don't you tell us a little bit about you? I gave you a little bit of a brief description, but your history is so vast, right? You truly do so much work with the mind and the body and the connection on such a higher level, right? So why don't you tell us a little bit about us, and then Rachel will get to you in a minute.
Yeah, no, thank you, Noelle, for having me. I'm so excited to be here. And yeah, I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and licensed drug and alcohol counselor. So many licenses and certifications. And I realized that I wanted to help people in such a deeper way than just doing the traditional therapy or see me every hour, every 2 weeks, you know. And I found hypnotherapy actually as a complete skeptic. And, you know, and when we're in therapy, we're not taught that hypnotherapy is really that great. So I was like, okay, I'll try this out. I'll prove them wrong. I'll get my money back. And instead I realized, oh my gosh, hypnotherapy is exactly what I was looking for. And to be able to just get my clients the results that I could get a client a year of traditional therapy in one session of hypnotherapy has just been incredible. And just learning about energy healing and the mind, and just how our limiting beliefs are really what's stopping us and the energy behind it. And just to be able to teach people to release it and be able to just live the life that they want. So I'm super happy helping people do that.
Oh my gosh. And you're so amazing at it. And truly, you know, you and I, we vibe on the same language, right? I think we seriously just, our path is very, very, very similar with the energy work and the mind work and everything. And it's so incredible. Guys, you're in for such a treat with these two today. I'm telling you right now, because they're collectively, we have about 30 years of experience, right? And so we're going to blow it out of the water today with the quantum energy and talking about the mind, body, soul connection. And so Rachael Grant Dixon, Rachael is my soul sister on this journey with me, sliding down the rainbow with me, and every step of this crazy journey coming here, right? You have been here. So why don't you tell them a little bit about you and what you do? I know that you move mountains when you work with people. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Noelle. And it's such a privilege to get to be with you too, Amy. I love you guys both. So this is awesome. A little bit about me. Ironically, I'm multitasking. I'm a mom. So that shouldn't be a shock to all of us that are moms out there. But Amy, I really could relate to like your story about being a little bit of a skeptic. When I first started on my journey, so I have a master's degree in sport and performance psychology, and I was all about, you know, the peer-reviewed journal articles and what's the other experts saying, right? And I had the opportunity to go through a little bit of a crisis, I guess, with my health, and I ended up going to an intuitive healer. And I went to her because I was kind of like at my last resort. Like, I've got to get out of pain. I don't know what else to do. And somebody finally said, hey, go see go see this gal. And she said to me, and she goes, she's working on me. And she's talking to me a little bit about energy. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And she goes, you know who you are, right? And I just looked at her like, well, I'm Rachael, but the depth of that question in that time in my life, I was not ready to answer it. I was not ready to say, I know who I am. And there in that moment really was the journey of just self-discovery, but the depths of my soul and the gifts that I have to bring to the world. So yes, I have the credentials, I have the accolades, the master's degree and all the years of experience, but I also have life's of just experience and then gifts to share with the world. So some of my passions, Noelle will know this too. I always have to put this right out there because it's one of the unique things about me. My favorite thing in life is horses, but right now I have a mule named Cucumber. And so I spend a ton of time with my mule Cucumber, and he has taught me a ton. So anyway, that's a little bit about me.
Oh, well, thank you guys for sharing that. And it's so crazy, this journey, right? I think we all started out in the counseling realm. And then from that space, we went to the NLP realm and in the mind and the body. And then we were like, ooh, there's more. Oh, wait, there's more, right? And then we went even further to that and into the quantum fields, right? And then I remember literally about 11 years ago when I met Rachael, I was like, yeah, I don't want to work with that energy stuff because I'm a counselor. And now it's like I'm a quantum energy trainer, right? And so it's pretty amazing how your soul pulls you in a certain direction, right? It pulls you in regardless of whatever you're doing. So let's start with maybe one of the biggest things that I think that on this journey is truly so many people come through this place and they come where they don't really know how to get to their soul. They don't know how to get to their soul's purpose. They don't know how to find joy in their life. They don't know how to really, really just connect within. Amy, maybe give us like a little tip, a mind hack, and then we'll go deep into, what's going on with us and my downloads in the last 3 years and how we got here, right? But maybe just tell someone, starting with like how, fear of everything and working with fear and working with, emotions, because that's truly, between the three of us, we can probably, as well as energy, but the emotion component is such a huge component. How would you give like a quick tip about managing your emotions and managing your energy on a daily basis?
That's a great question. And when it comes to, so it's different because it's like managing your emotions. I'm a big believer, and I know you guys are too, that it's like we're supposed to feel our emotions. So it's like it's if you're sad, let yourself cry. If you're angry, let yourself get angry. If you have to go scream in your car or like hit a pillow or whatever you need to do to get it out of your body. Because it's like, I've worked with so many people where when it comes to emotions and fear, it's just, I gotta stuff it. Right. And I can't feel it. I gotta pull myself up by my bootstraps and just get out there. And I'm just a big proponent of let yourself cry, let yourself feel the emotions, because as much as it's not fun to be in that pain, once we're done feeling our emotions, I'm telling you, you're gonna eventually stop crying. The tears will stop, right? If you're angry, the anger will stop. You'll get tired, you'll get exhausted, and then you feel so much better. And then you can go through whatever you need to go through. It's really so important to not be afraid of our emotions. Our emotions are always showing up for a reason, and they're showing up in our body, and we need to listen. And the more that we can just let ourselves feel those emotions, the more that we can just move forward. And it's amazing how much we're taught to not feel them, but it's amazing how we do feel great once we let ourselves feel them.
I love that so much. And I think that that's it's a huge component is so many people in this society, and we'll go more into the divine feminine and divine masculine energies of the emotions and behind it. But so many people in society today, especially men, right? They're taught not to feel, they're taught not to cry. They're taught not to go into the fear because they have to be really, really strong. And that's actually the wounded masculine, right? Because feeling is an emotion that everyone is supposed to feel. And fear is an emotion that everyone's supposed to feel. And so, it's so important to understand that we have to actually feel it and then have it move through our body and understand it, right? Everything is there to teach us, right? There's nothing in our life that shows up in our physical world that's not going on in our internal world. And so it's teaching us to be a greater version of us, right? And so Rach, maybe one tip for you, because you're a performance coach. So you're based on, okay, I'm here and I need to get here, right? It's very, very strategic. Where Amy and I work more with our clients, probably in like the quantum realms and in the hypnotherapy aspect of it, and the energy, and not do a lot of energy. You do like tangible things with your clients, right?
Yeah. So from my field, or from my perspective, where I bring my gifts, is it's actually really normal and healthy to recognize when there's a gap. This is what I'm feeling, or this is how I'm performing. If you're an athlete or some kind of performer in any field, this is how I'm showing up in my life. And yet there's something that I feel like is over here that is calling to me, that there's something else that I'm missing. There's a longing. I work a lot with athletes, and there's an awareness that your performance can just get to that next level. And it's actually, again, I tell my clients, it's healthy to notice the gap. But that's when we get strategic about what that is. There's a lesson, there's an energy, there's a belief system. With that, simultaneously is your calling, your mission, your purpose, your commission, your gifts, your talents, your service to humanity. So you might be feeling these simultaneous energies of recognizing the gap, but you're always going to be supported if you continue to show up. And Amy, what you said, and Noelle, what you said, feeling the feels is a part of that journey, so that, because those feels are a part of the path. They're a part of that door opening, so that you can see, well, what's behind this emotion? And for me, my language would be, what's behind the gap?
That's so beautiful, right? And so it shows up, and that's a perfect lead in, Rach, into where your soul is taking you, right? Through your pain is always your purpose. Through your pain is always your purpose. Through your pain is always your purpose, right? And so it's truly, truly beautiful, because if you could understand that once you get through your pain, you actually, on the other side of that is your purpose. And that leads me to this beautiful gift of what I'm going to talk about with you guys, is that, moving from we had this discussion this week, right? The three of us, right? About 3 years ago, I've been on this journey for a really long time, right? And so have you, and we've all been on this different journey, different paths, but we've all known each other for quite some time. But about 3 years ago, those that don't know, I had a download that we were supposed to create something. We were supposed to create, and it was very strong that it wasn't me, right? It was the three of us had been on different journeys throughout this whole path as long as we've known each other. And there was a very strong download for me, and it was clear as day that we were supposed to create this beautiful hub for people of wellness, right? And so we were going to bring other people's gifts out to the world, and because we're all trainers, right? We all train, whether in different realms, whether it's hypnosis or NLP or corporate training, whatever it may be, we all train people. And the download that I got about 3 years ago was that health and wellness was so much bigger than us, right? It was the mind, the body, the soul, and spirit. And my soul's purpose, I just I always knew my soul's purpose. I knew I was supposed to be a trainer, but I didn't know that I was supposed to move from the me to the we. And that is where we're going to start talking about this beautiful gift that we're actually bringing out to the world, right? We are bringing out this wellness hub of all different practitioners, like with vast variety of different we have some that they're all NLP practitioners and they're all quantum certified, but they're also have their gifts that they're bringing to the world. And we created this, and I got this download about 3 years ago. I hopped on the phone. Rach, you were the first person that I called, and I was like, Rach. And she's like, we got to get Amy in on this.
I did. I'm like, calling me.
Three of us made a phone call, and nothing really came from it. But this week, in the last 2 weeks, we really had built this incredible, like, just, I don't even know what to say. It's a hub, I guess, right? For wellness practitioners to bring people, it's every type of wellness that you can possibly want, whether it's the body, whether it's the mind, whether it's the soul, whether it's the energy fields, it's every type of wellness. We have a practitioner for you, and we built that, right? And so let's talk a little bit about moving from the me to the we, because that's such an important component on this journey, right? Service, service, service. And when you get to service, that is the highest level of consciousness, right? It's like, oh, I have my gifts, but they're not mine. I'm going to actually bring them out into the world. And so what we're building is an opportunity for in health and wellness for so many people, because every area of wellness we have covered, right? So Rach, you want to maybe talk a little bit about just moving from the ego to moving into, wow, this is my soul's purpose, and this is service, right? And we'll go more about what the hub is later on, but right now, just for the show's purposes, let's talk about moving from ego, which is, I think all of us went through that journey, right? Of this is my journey and I am the trainer, to, oh my gosh, we can make this empowerment as a collective and moving into the collective. So Rach, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I would love to speak to that, because I actually own absolutely the times of my life where I went through that phase of, this is about me, it's about my gifts, this is about what I have to offer, right? All of these different things. And I don't blame or shame myself for that. It was a learning step. It was almost like for me, this is just my lived experience, like a phase that I kind of needed to go through, almost birth myself through, so that I could recognize, wait, there's another way. Like, there is another component to sharing our gifts with others. And so anyone that is going through that I stage, there's no shame or blame in that. It's a part of the growth. And what we see now as our we, when Noelle called me, I will tell you, I remember where I was standing in my kitchen, what I was wearing, and how many babies I had running around me. Okay.
We all had some of them going around somewhere.
Yeah. I was like, and you want me to build what? Like, okay. And so that was 3 years ago. And we continue to show up individually in our own lives so that we could then become the collective. And that is what I feel like is the message from the I to the we, is do your inner work. Because then when that inner work is birthed, we is ready and wanting to unite with you. There's that beautiful collective energy that happens when we individually do like our work, first. And then the healing that can happen as a collective, because you are no longer doing it alone. You're with the we, and you feel support. You feel inspired, you feel united. I mean, energies that we don't really get to experience when we're in that I phase.
I love that so much. And community is such a part of our connection, right? I mean, and so many people don't understand that it's never about you. It is never about you. And that's a really hard thing for people to grasp, right? It's like, no, wait, what do you mean it's never about me? Of course it's about me. It's never about you. Your gifts come through you and out to the world. And when you finally get to that stage, that's when you're in true service, right? That's when you get to say, this is, this TV show being on stages is all the stages that we have been on, all the books that we have all written. It's never been about us, right? And during that journey, there have been moments where it's like, no, this is really about me, and look how powerful I am. And then we all had to take a check, and it was like, no, whoa, and so maybe talk a little bit about that for your experience of going from the me to the we, and the egoic journey that really just, and I never say breaking the ego, because I actually love the ego, right? It teaches us, it shows us along the way. And so I like to say working with the ego to get to a greater version of yourself.
Yeah, I love that you share that too, because the ego gets such a bad rep, but it's there for a reason, We got to stop, I've heard of some people where they're like, destroy your ego. It's like, that's not how it works. So yeah, what's coming up for me as you guys are sharing is it's like, oh, I still struggle with that. And I struggle with that like academically and thinking, oh, I have to know all of the answers and I have to study every single book. And oh, I want to go teach this. Oh, I got to make sure I'm a master at it before I teach it, instead of just trusting that, it's going to download, it's going to come. If for some reason I got this insight that I need to share this with people, that I need to train this and I need to teach this, then I need to trust that the right message, the right things will come through. And I think that's still what I struggle with, because that like academia Amy is like, I got to make sure I say it correctly. I got to make sure I have the right points. I got to make sure I have everything correct. And so it's that struggle between that ego, like I have to get it right, and then the just trust that it's going to come through. And for me to it's like, how much can you really, if you really think about it, how much can you really get done on your own? Like if you're owning a business, don't you need a team, right? I mean, don't you, when you're just building anything, when you have a movement or a message, you can't just do it on your own. I mean, even right now with what's happening, like with protesting, you need more people, so it's like, instead of thinking it's all about you, is when you really move things, when you have a movement, when you have a message, it gets to more people when it's a we and not just a me.
I love that so much. And really, truly, we together are the change. And that's, and what I say all the time, and you guys know this, is that you have to do the internal work for there to be external change. But you have to, you change you, and that, I'll change me, and that actually changes you. And once you're changed, that changes the collective, right? And so we move from just, when we stop and we actually take time and do the inner work and say, this is coming up. Oh my gosh, my fear of abandonment, or my inner child work, or all of the work that we do, right? If it's coming up, it's coming up to be healed, because it's still in your fields, right? And on top of that, like all of us, all three of us do the work on the back end. And then we come back out and we teach that. And we teach it from a place of, hey, we've already gone through this, right? This is experience. And it's not just, like you said, all of us combined, we, with our degrees and our education's nuts. But that's what really was the difference between the last 3 years, I think, for all of us, was that we stepped into this power where it was like, we didn't have to look on the wall and see how many credentials we had, right? It was more about, oh my gosh, actually, that none of that matters. Like, how can I bring value to you? How can I bring value to the people that we're serving, right? And on the highest level, like, how can, if I am at the highest version of myself, my kids are at the highest version of myself, my family's at the highest version of myself, and I'm emanating that energy out into the world, right? So let's talk energy, since we're in that space now, right? Let's talk about, once we have moved through the egoic stage, which is, it's just a part of raising your consciousness and moving through the ego. And the ego is always going to be there in every area. There may be some areas of your life where you're knocking it out of the park, and other areas of life but if you're in a human body, you are always still learning, right? So we are the teachers and the learning, and we're the students at the same time. So let's talk about energy and the vibrations and frequencies, right? And so getting into a higher frequency, allowing yourself to do the work, allowing yourself to move to a higher frequency to be in that service. Because honestly, and Rach, you and I had this conversation yesterday, right? You cannot be in service mode if you're in a lower frequency, right? Because it feels like a burden if you're in a lower frequency and you're trying to serve people. But if you're in a higher frequency of love and the higher vibrations on the planet, it comes very naturally through you, where it's like, wow, okay, that is actually what I'm supposed to be doing, right? So Aim, let's talk about energy and moving the energy, because that's what we all do, right? We manipulate the energy in the quantum field, and we work with energy on a deep level. So let's talk about the power of energy, and how we're all energy, and how we bring our energy out to the world.
Oh gosh, yeah. Energy is just, it's so amazing, and just learning all about it and realizing how much we are energy, and our thoughts are energy, and our beliefs are energy, and how what we're thinking and doing is bringing certain things to us. And I love that you shared what you shared earlier about how we are, like, we have to be at a certain energy level to be able to help people. If we're down in like fear and doubt, I mean, how can that energy help someone when you're feeling like that? So it's like, we definitely have to be in those higher levels. And one thing that it's bringing up for me that I love, that I've learned and I love doing and I love teaching, is like entrainment. So a lot of times with clients, you know, if they're like, well, I don't believe that about myself. Like, let's just say they don't believe that they're worthy. And so, you know, I can say, okay, well, I believe you're worthy. And so it's like them in training to my belief about them. So if I believe it, if I'm excited, if my energy is love or higher, then that can make them entrain to that energy and feel that. And sometimes, you know, I'll tell them, okay, borrow my belief. My belief is that you are worthy. And if you don't feel like you're worthy, then I want you to borrow my belief that you are worthy, so it can make your energy go higher. So for me, I think entrainment is huge, especially if you are someone that are in the healing aspect, to get your energy high enough to where whoever you're working with or whoever you're around or whoever you are in service of, to have them entrain to your energy. Because it's amazing if you guys feel it. If you've had just a bad day and then you get on the phone with someone and they're seeing the good in you and they're seeing that you're worthy, and then you start to like pep up and you're like, you're right. Yeah, you are pointing it out. I mean, Noelle, you do that to me all the time.
You do that to me too, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, that's the thing. So I love learning about energy and how we can entrain other people to ours when we're in those high vibes.
That is so beautiful. And really, truly, you know, I believe and I teach, it's like, I see you and I see you at the greatest version of you. And I know you can get there. And I teach them ways to see how they can get there. Right. And that really, truly is all of our gifts, is we see the greatest version of people beforehand. And when you believe in someone, even before they believe in themselves, that is the greatest power you can give them. When you see someone, even before they see themselves, that is the greatest gift you could ever give them, is when you know their light and you're coming from a power and you're just focused only on them, and they're not focused on them, but focus on their light and focus on their strength and focus on how beautiful they are, regardless of the chaos or the shit show that's going on, right? It's truly just this beautiful, powerful, it's and the best way that I could describe it, and thank you, Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, for saying this, is that she says you focus on someone's divinity and they bring out their divinity, right? And so how about you, Rach?
Well, and to add to that, I think that as we focus on that, two things came to mind. Is that's how I feel like our relation is with source, or for me, the term I use is God, that we can hack in, right, to that God source, collective, universal energy, borrow it. Like, I'm not feeling it. Show me who I am, right? And then through that higher power, then we can then emulate that out to other people. And something that I find that has been something I've had to learn is that sometimes I want to see people, or I see people in their potential, and then I want them to immediately change. I want them to immediately see their potential and not bother me anymore and move into their highest purpose. And, you know, and I start to write their story, because I can see their potential. I mean, that's a gift I have, is being able to see their potential. And then I want to start writing their story for them and how they're going to change and manifest and all these different things. But holding space for.
Oh, I think she froze. So Aim, maybe you can talk about holding space for people and seeing them in a higher light.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, how funny. So yeah, like holding, exactly what Rachel's saying, is holding that space for, I wasn't sure if she was coming back. Holding that space for people in the higher light, to be able to see them. But also, I think where she was going with this is like, everyone's on their journey. Like, yeah, maybe we're working with them and, you know, they are feeling that they're not able to see themselves, you know, and it's like, we can't get in the way too. Even though we see their highest light, we see that they are worthy, we also can't expect them to just jump into it right away. And we can't get in a way of their journey, because everyone has their own lessons that they learn. You know, it's like, I like to think I'm your guide. I'm going to guide you to some different ways. We're going to guide you to your highest purpose, your soul's purpose. We're going to guide you to who you are and what you want, but it's you're the one that has to take the action. And if you don't, it's not to shame yourself or anything. It's just to see, okay, what's stopping me, or where is your journey? And so it's like, that's how I see myself, as I just guide you. It's like, oh, try this. And then if it doesn't work, then you learn a lesson and try this. So that's where I think she was going. I don't know exactly, but.
Well, I love that so much. And hopefully she'll be able to come back in. She had some technical difficulties, but that's okay. But we can just continue to flow. But I think honoring people where they are, right? I think that's such a huge component of you're back. Yay.
I apologize. I don't know.
No, it's technology, right? And so just honoring people where they are, right? And saying and loving and saying, I understand that I see a higher version of you, and you have to allow them to see the highest version of themselves, right? Because you show them the way, but it's their choice to step into that power or not, right? And so the God, source, the universe is never going to take away your free will, and you get on a conscious level to make a choice every single day, right? And I say this all the time, guys, right? All day, every day. I think all three of us do this. It's like, I think I'm going to eat this. You know, this is a little bit healthier choice. I think I'm going to think this. This is a little bit, this is toxic energy, right? And we're all three of us are really great about the toxicity of life in general, right? And that just comes with life, is we make a conscious choice. But one of the things, and this was huge on my journey, huge, was that I had to not fix anybody anymore, right? Because all of us are counselors, and then we work with the brain, and we mind hack, and then we work in the energy fields. And so it's so easy to be like, no, this is you, come see, right? But we get to allow them to have their soul's journey, right? And that is such an important component, is that if we are enabling people and we are trying to heal people, which none of us do, we train people, right? It's a very different energy and a very different vibration. When you're coming from a place that you think you're a healer, nobody needs to be healed. Nobody is broken, right? You are training people to guide them to their soul. You are training people to understand their limiting beliefs. You are training people to be a better version of themselves, right? So let's talk about going from the victim, and this is your pocket, right?
Oh,
you know, this is Amy's pocket, right? And so the victim loop of, now we see our clients and we see how great, and not even just our clients, but everybody that's in our life, right? And we teach them, and they remain in the victim, right? So maybe talk about the victim loop and what that looks like, because that's really your pocket.
Oh yeah, I did a whole podcast episode on this. So let me see if I can bring in the important parts with it. So look, when we are in the victim, we don't know our power. And we think that someone else is going to save us. Someone has our power for us and is going to show us the way and teach us this. And so when you're in a victim, then you're looking for someone to rescue you. So then you have a rescuer. So then you have a rescuer on this triangle that is telling you what to do and is rescuing you, right? But now the rescuer is going through, the rescuer feels like they don't have any worth. And so they have to have someone to fix so they feel better. So, you know, us being therapists, where we used to be, I'm sure. I'm not going to put you guys in that, but I definitely was.
I think we all went on this journey together, right?
Yeah. And so that's the thing. If you're a victim, you have to have a rescuer, right? And then there's a persecutor too, the persecutor that makes you feel bad, which makes you that victim. So it's that whole entire triangle that you go around. And the biggest thing is it all has to do with power. The persecutor believes that they have the power when they actually don't. The rescuer believes that they don't deserve anything. They can't have anything that they want. So they get their power by making other people feel better. And the victim just feels completely powerless and someone needs to save them. So it's all about knowing your power. If you know your power and you know that you're powerful, then you won't be in those three roles. You'll be that powerful soul that you are.
I love that so much. And so that leads me to really want to talk a lot about the divine masculine and the divine feminine, because those energies are, right? The wounded masculine and the wounded feminine are always in the victim, right? And so the wounded masculine looks like, a very abusive, very aggressive, I'm going to make this happen, right? Force, very like, and the divine masculine is force and it's motivation, but it is driven and it is purpose driven, right? And then the wounded feminine is very needy. It's very clingy. It's very, very insecure. It is, it needs to be rescued, right? And the divine feminine stands in her power and says, I love you, but this is my truth. And I could do this. I got this. And we all have those energies within us. And so Rach, why don't we talk about a little bit about the divine masculine, divine feminine, because this is your pocket, right? And the difference between the two. And it has nothing to do with gender. We're not talking male or female. We all have those energies within us. So talk a little bit about that, because I know that that's really your wheelhouse too.
And I'm so glad, Noelle, that you brought up that we're not talking about a gender, that these are energies. These are things that we're interfacing with. And so my first initial exposure to this type of work with the divine masculine, the divine feminine, I went through that a lot, where I was like, oh, this is what it would look like in a man, or this is what it would look like in a woman. And then I learned that it's a reflection. There is a balance in these energies, and each person uniquely, individually, and purposefully reflects divine masculine energy and divine feminine energy. And so, yes, we can have these categories or some tips and pointers on when are you in your wounded energy, when are you in your divine energy. But at the end of the day, intuitively, like what Noelle just said, when you're standing in your truth, and you're not doing it in a form of aggression or I told you so, or I have to be right because definitely you're wrong. Those are some indications that your harmony is out of balance. Something is tipped this way, something is tipped this way. So when we stand in that harmony of energy between our divine masculine and our divine feminine, that's, to me, where you find a lot of flow. And it's so beautiful because each one of us expresses it uniquely. We can each write our own chapter of what we look like when we stand in harmony between the masculine and feminine. And I feel that right now it's one of the great commissions worldwide to harmonize these energies and to understand them, because this is how we really give birth to everything being possible, is when we are in this balanced sphere of understanding, because it holds space for ourselves and others, which is what I feel like this is a worldwide call out to, that is this rise in consciousness. But it's this lamb and the lion, the yin and the yang, everything coming together.
So beautiful. Wow. I love that so much. So that's a perfect lead into our Infinite Wellness Hub, right? And so let's talk a little bit about what we're building and where that's coming from, right? We have you, me, and AIM and all of us have come together in the last about month, right? 3 weeks, month. And we have really this is 3 years in the making. I got the download 3 years ago that we're supposed to bring these greatest gifts of practitioners at the highest level, completely trained at the highest level, all in one space. So people can truly, they can have a yoga instructor, they can have a fitness instructor, they can have a nutritionist, they can have the quantum work that you guys do, they can have the hypnosis from Amy, they can have the behavior stuff from you. And there's, we have this, and it just happens to be all women. We're inviting other men in. We happen to be all women right now. And so let's talk about this amazing, beautiful hub that we're building. Amy, you want to start, and then Rach, you can go. But I got chills. We hopped on a call before about 3 days ago, and I got flooded with emotion, because this was 3 years ago. I saw this vision. I knew our gifts were supposed to be brought out to the world in service, and each of us went in our own way, and we became who we are today. And now we get to build and train and show others that are, want to be coaches or want to be practitioners. And we get to train them to bring their gifts to the world in this hub. And then for the people that are already trained, that they just want to come to one wellness hub and do, 4 different practices, we have that ability for them, right? So, Aim, why don't you start and then Rachael can go.
Yeah, well, that's like you are the perfect example of going from the I or the me to we. I mean, that's what it is. You've built this whole entire amazing company, and then you got that download 3 years ago, and now it's actually happening to where it's like you're taking everything that you've taught, that you've learned, and now you're making it we, and creating this like incredible wellness spiritual buffet,
I love that.
I love that. It's so true. It's so true. So why don't you talk a little bit about what we're going to be offering and how it's just going to change lives, because I knew what I was building, but I had no idea. And then I was like, I can't do this alone. And I got to the point. And so it's this infinite wellness hub that allows so many of us to do so many different things. So maybe go deeper into that.
Yeah. And with the whole buffet, it's like, if you're a client and you're working with me and we're working on some deep quantum stuff, we're doing hypnotherapy, we're getting rid of beliefs. And then you say, oh, okay, now I really want to work with body stuff, then we have someone that, oh, okay, let me send you here, and then you're saying, oh, I want to work with performance. Okay, let me send you to Rachael. We all have our wheelhouse of what we do. And so instead of, the client having to figure out, okay, I need to work on this, I need to doing all the research yourself. It's like everything you could possibly want to help you with your wellness, with your spirituality, with your body, with your mind is going to be in this one place. And there you go. And you have, as Noelle was saying, the highest level trained practitioners that there are, the most loving, the most intuitive. I mean, I'm so excited. When you called me, Noelle, I just got full body chills. Oh my gosh, I know you said this 3 years ago. I'm like, oh, that's a really cool idea, Noelle. Yeah, that's cool,
Yeah.
And then I got
you're like, yeah, sure. No, that sounds good. That sounds good. And now I'm like, no, I have to do this. Right?
I know. And how many times, do people say oh, we need to do this together, and then it never goes through. So it's like, oh yeah, that sounds really cool, Noelle. And then when you call me 3 weeks and you're like, that thing we talked about 3 years ago is happening. I was like, oh my gosh, but I got full body chills. And I just knew intuitively, oh my gosh, I'm being called to this. This is going to be amazing. This is going to be life-changing. This is going to be us teaching us teaching community, us teaching tribe. It's going to be amazing.
It's so beautiful, beyond beautiful. I mean, I get chills every single time we have a meeting about it, right? And Rach, maybe talk about moving into your soul's purpose, because this truly is our soul's purpose. We have all done we all own our own businesses. We've done our own life work. We've all done the internal work. And now we've moved into right? We've moved into us as a hub, and we have what is it? Is it 9 or 10 practitioners that we have that in this wellness hub? And so this is our soul's purpose, right? Being on out as global, at the global level, bringing wellness, whether it's wellness in consciousness, whether it's wellness in your body, whether it's wellness in your mind. We've stepped into our soul's purpose, right? So Rach, maybe talk about that journey about the soul's purpose and how important it is, because your soul is never going to be quiet, guys. And that's what I want to tell our viewers, is that 3 years ago, I got this download. 10 years ago when I met Rach, or 11 years ago when I met Rach, I knew this journey was it was bigger than me. It was bigger than me. And it kept calling me. And there were moments where I was like, no, I'm out. Right. And I kept going and I kept going and I kept going. And, my soul kept calling me, and your soul kept calling you, and your soul. And so we all of us said yes to our soul's purpose. And as soon as we said yes to our soul's purpose, we got flooded with fear. We got flooded with tests. We got flooded with all of the things. So Rach, maybe talk about the journey to reach your soul's purpose, right?
Yeah. Well, thank you for allowing me to share this part. This is a big part of my heart. You're on purpose. Those of you that can hear me right now, you are on purpose. You came into this world for this time, this moment, this vibration. because this is not a trend. This is not a fad. This is not a sales pitch. This is not, I mean, yes, we have beautiful marketing and beautiful pictures, and Noelle has a wonderful, beautiful team, and we give so much honor and gratitude to all the technology behind this. But beyond the technology is that you matter. Your soul's purpose is here to change you and change lives. And so the longing, the calling that you hear, it is coming from within. And yes, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of things going on the outside, but quiet that and hear that call. And if your call is to walk it with a guide. Now, Noelle and Amy, all of us have guides along our journey. In fact, that is a huge part of a soul's journey, is that I have always had people that have been intuitive guides for me walking a few steps ahead. And it has led me to my purpose, because when I just kept showing up in my life, the guides kept showing up in my life. And that's what I feel like. And Amy and Noelle, I know you guys feel like that too. We're not here to do the work for you. We're here to walk it with you as guides, because we've been a few steps down the path of purpose. But there's this, my intent of what I'd like to share to you right now is how important and purposeful and meaningful the gifts that are calling out right now. Let them out. Let them out. And we would love to be a part of you letting them out, because others have done that for us. God, source, and the universe, and the collective, Mother Earth has done that for us. And now it's your turn. You are not a trend, and you are not a fad. You are real, and you are purposeful.
That is so beautiful, and thank you. And that's just such a tribute to who you are, Rach, right? It truly is. And you too, Amy. It's you guys are two of the greatest people that I know. And I knew with all of my soul that this journey had to be with you. And I think the one commonality that we have is, yes, we're all probably in the same field, but the common ground that we have is we see people. We see their greatest and highest good, and we take them on this beautiful journey between them and their soul, and we teach them. It's not, oh, hey, and many practitioners and many people in our fields, there's this codependent relationship where it's like, I am the practitioner, and I'm going to fix or heal you, and there is nobody, including the three of us in our practice, that does that. They see you, they guide you, they teach you, they move you to a greater version of you, and they take you on this journey with them. And sometimes, our clients adore us, and sometimes they're really angry and want to give us the finger because we're taking them through their souls, right? We're taking them to the shadows, but through the shadow, guys, is your purpose. And we promise you that if you work with us, you get to the level of purpose. It is never, ever, ever about anything else except about getting you to your highest version of you and your gifts that you can bring to this world, right? And so on that note, Amy, why don't we talk a little bit about where we can really, truly tap into that energy of your soul's purpose, because we have a couple more minutes, and then, this will be our final segment before we wrap it up and let everyone know how they can find you. But tap into the energy of, well, okay, I know I really like this, but how do I get there, right? Like, how do I get to my soul? And that's such a question. Almost every client I have says, I know what I like, but I don't know how to get to my soul, right?
Yeah, I would say, what works for me best is quiet, like meditation, going deep into meditation and quiet and asking questions. And sometimes, when I'm meditating, here's the thing, if I go into my meditation with expectations, like I want to find my soul's purpose, or I want this, it never happens. You can't have you have to have that complete surrender and detachment. And so for me, it's like when I go into meditation, it's like, okay, I don't have any expectations. I'm just going to meditate and see what comes. And that quietness is where you can have God, source, whatever, universe, whatever you believe in, talk to you. You can have your soul come through so hugely and so brightly with that quiet, and it's almost like, I've heard a lot of people say this, and it happens for me too. It's almost like that whisper, it's like your critic in here is like loud and proud and trying to tell you all these awful things about you. But it's this like quiet whisper that just tells you like, go this way. You're going the right way. You're just keep going, keep trusting. It's that quiet whisper that is like, lets me know, even if I'm going in a direction where I'm like, I don't know if this is right. It's getting into that meditative state and just listening to that whisper and trusting.
I love that so much, Amy. And it's true. Like the more, meditation changed my life, and I teach meditation. And now I went from, having anxiety for years to literally just managing and understanding my energy. And from managing my body, I understood how to manage my mind. And from managing my mind, I understand how to manage my energy. And from managing my energy, I understand how to manage my soul and where my soul wants to go. Right. That's such a beautiful gift that we get to tap into, right? We get to have this dance with the universe and our soul, right? We get to say, hey, this is why we came here. This is our truth, right? And so, Rach, how do you feel about that?
Oh, I was with you, Amy. I was like, yes, this is the best. I also just feel really strongly, if anybody ever gets the opportunity to do a meditation with Amy or Noelle, do it. They, oh my gosh, have beautiful gifts of being able to take you in. And with meditation, something that I feel like I've learned, to what Amy's point was, is it's quieting the mind so that you can receive what the term I call is revelation around what questions to ask. Because like to Amy's point, if you go in with an agenda, with an idea, with a perception, you're bringing with you all of your old beliefs, and yet you're seeking truth. So if you bring with you all of it's like trash day. Like if you bring all your trash and you don't want an empty trash can, that's not going to work. So you let it all out, you let it all go. And then you wait for those inspired, revelatory, and clarity questions. And then those downloads can just start to flow into you. And it's trusting that you are hardwired to receive truth. I want to say that to everyone again. You are hardwired to receive truth, and it is meant to come into you, and you are meant to remember how you receive and feel truth in your body, and then how that manifests all around you. So that's one of the most powerful aspects of meditation that I've learned is release, let go, let it flow.
Yeah. And meditation is such a powerful tool. And there, so many people say to me, Noelle, I can't meditate. I can't quiet my mind. And, I say all the time, do what brings you joy, right? Meditation to me is actually meditating and going into the quantum fields, but meditating to some people is going on a hike. Meditation to other people is walking their dog, right? It is truly just what quiets your mind. And it could be journaling, it could be writing, it could be anything, but it is such a powerful tool when you understand that your mind, you control your mind doesn't control you, right? And so that is probably the greatest gift that we could teach everybody is just getting in, go within. Your body knows everything. There's an internal guidance system within you that is so dialed in. You are nature, right? I mean, a tree, and I've said this a million times, an acorn never says, oh, I really don't think I can be an oak tree. I don't feel like I'm good enough. I don't think I'm worthy to be an oak tree. That acorn innately becomes the oak tree, right? With the proper nurture and nature and moving it to the right stage. And so you have to do the same thing with yourself. You have to properly take care of yourself and go within, and you will become that oak tree. I promise that. So guys, thank you so much for being here. What a wealth of knowledge. So Rach, where can they find you? I know that both of you guys are the lead practitioners. You're the VP of, what are you now? And you're the VP of Leadership and Development, and Rachel's the VP of Operations for Infinite Wellness through Noelle Agape Global. Tell us a little bit where they can find you and all of that stuff, Rach.
So I have a podcast. It's called She's Awake. You can find that She's Awake podcast. It's on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, or Podomatics. There's lots of different places. In fact, you can just Google She's Awake podcast. You can definitely listen to some of my messages and teachings through that. And then right now, the best way, if you'd like to set up a one-on-one coaching session with me, use Instagram through my podcast, She's Awake Podcast on Instagram, or you can private message me on Facebook. The key is Racheal Grant Dixon. And sometimes people forget the Grant part. So if you'd like to Facebook message me, I would be more than welcome to set up an appointment with you.
Great. And Aim, how about you?
Yeah, so my website is No BS Therapy, because as I shared at the beginning, you don't have to go to therapy for a year. You can just have that one session. So it's No BS, so No BS Therapy. And I also have a podcast too, and it's called Shattering BS Beliefs. And I talk about, like I shared about the way more advanced of the victim, the rescuer, and the persecutor role, and just many different things like that, like your mother, how she affected you, your father, all kinds of childhood stuff that are affecting your beliefs and how you are today. So yeah, you can just message me at No BS Therapy in the contact form.
Beautiful, beautiful. And, both of them are my lead practitioners in our wellness hub on Infinite Wellness. And so you can go to noelleagape.com. It is a wellness hub, and it is 100% everything wellness, right? From literally from yoga, nutrition, all the way up to the quantum fields, everything that you can possibly imagine. Guys, if you liked this and this brought you value, please like, share, and subscribe to this podcast, to noelleagape.com. We need to get this message out to as many people as possible, guys. So again, please like and share and subscribe it, because it can bring people value. The more that we can bring value to other people, the more we raise our vibration and we raise ourselves in this world, right? And so to the viewers, I need you to know that it is all within you. Everything that you are looking for is within you. Everything that you want is within you. Your soul's purpose is in you. So together we are the change. You raise your vibration by working on you, and that emanates out to the world. And then literally you change the world with your vibration. I love you guys so much, and I am so grateful to have you on this journey with me. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video. It is time to set your soul on fire and ignite the passion within. We'll see you soon, guys.